Hey guys, this is David. I wanted to give you guys a little tutorial on setting up and breaking down the enclosure. Okay, so we start off by simply just unzipping it. We'll go all the way around, open it up. We will take the enclosure out. Now we have two different enclosures. This one is the indoor enclosure. The other one that we have is an outdoor enclosure. And the idea is we keep one outside. It'll get a little dirtier, but that's okay. And then we'll keep this nice one inside where it'll stay nice and clean. The one that's inside will also have a remote control and an extra set of batteries. Make sure that this always goes back in the enclosure bag. That way you don't leave a surprise for the next person that's setting everything up. Okay, so once you've unpacked the enclosure, what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay it out, and it should be packed in like a burrito. I'll show you guys that at the very end. What I like to do is the side that has the fan, you see here, usually also that's the side where all the cords are coming out of. So I'm going to put that where I want my outlet and my power pack to go so that I could plug everything in. Also, one of the really important things is that before you do this, you check your electricity, make sure that you're plugged into a power outlet that will be able to power this up. Okay, so we're going to take the cords and everything, we're going to put it by wherever our outlet is. And before we start inflating, a really important thing is we're going to go ahead and zip up the hole. And this hole is important because it allows us to have access. So it has a zipper. Not sure if you can see there. It has a zipper, so I'm going to zip that. Okay, the cords are going to be coming out, and that's okay. And then it has a Velcro strap as well. So I'm going to put those. And the idea is you want it to be somewhat airtight because that's just going to allow it to inflate a little faster. Okay, once I have that done, I'm going to now unravel it. And like I said, the idea is to lay it all out so that when it inflates properly. One of the nightmare scenarios is that it inflates inverted, meaning the outside is in and the inside is out. And that's just a pain because you would have to take the air out and start all over again. So the idea is I want my fan to be facing out, not in. That's a good indication that it's inverted. So out, fan out. I could look for my corners and just make sure that corners are on each side. Okay. We got another corner here, bottom there. We got another corner here, bottom there. Now it's all laid out flat. So now I'm gonna begin to inflate. Okay. So that's a plug into an outlet. Okay. So it is now inflating. And I just want that fan to not be obstructed. I don't want anything to get in front of it. Sometimes the enclosure itself will overlap and begin to cover that fan, and I don't want that. I want it to be completely clear so it's able to take in air from the outside and put it into the enclosure. So this process takes approximately 3 to 5 minutes. It's been about a minute now, and it's about a quarter of the way inflated. So we're gonna wait here. And again, I'm just gonna make sure that it's not obstructed. because right about now is where the enclosure could overlap and begin to cover the fan up. And that's no good because it won't inflate, as well as it'll make the fan work harder and even run a potential where you would burn out the fan. So this is inflating. And this is also a good time just to make sure that nothing around is going to get tipped over because of the enclosure inflating. At this point, I definitely don't want my setup to be getting in the way. So I'm just going to make sure my surroundings are somewhat clear. Sometimes you don't have the luxury of that, but in this case, we always ask for a space that's at least 10 by 10. Another good thing to be aware of, especially at an indoor event, is the ceiling height. This is going to inflate to 8 feet. So we always let our customers know, hey, your ceilings need to be at least 9 to 10 feet tall at the very least. Now this is a vaulted ceiling. We won't have any issues with that, but we've been in certain scenarios where it just wasn't going to inflate because they had a fan or something, they didn't realize it. So we always try to talk that over with the customer, but it's important for you to know that, because if you do have something in the ceiling that's going to get in the way, it's important that you let the customer know ahead of time so that they're not expecting to set it up there, and you can move in time. Okay, so now we are about 3/4 of the way there. I'm going to just help it out a little bit. So I got one side almost fully inflated. Now I'm going to kind of help out the other side. And like I said, this process isn't going to take more than 3 to 5 minutes. If it is taking that long, or if it is taking a lot longer than that, I should say, probably something's wrong. Either the fan is obstructed, or you didn't seal the opening of that fan correctly, and maybe you need to go back and look at that. Definitely, if you see it kind of inflating and deflating, that could be a good indication that that opening has opened up. Doesn't really happen, but in case it did, you're aware of it. All right. So I'm going to get inside here, just help it out a little more. Okay, my back wall is inflated. I'm going to let these sides inflate as well. Okay, you're getting there. Very good. Okay, and then once it's inflated, I should say once it's fully inflated, it's a perfect time to move it if you so need to move it. So say you realize the doors aren't exactly where you want, because one door is where the clients are going to be coming in to the photo booth. The other door is where you're going to be setting up your camera and all that good stuff. So if you realize that the positioning of those doors isn't what you want, you could always turn it quarter by quarter, right? So if I, let's say, need a door on the other side and I need another door on this side, well, I could turn it 1/4 and that'll get me there. So this is pretty much fully inflated. Now, one also thing I forgot to mention is that the feature that makes these photo booths so cool is that there's LED lights. So I'm not going to do that right here, but the idea is you would also plug in, so you would need 2 outlets, and that's why it's better to use a power pack back there. One for the lights, and then one for inflating the photo booth. Okay, so in this scenario, let's say that I had my power pack on this side and I was inflating the photo booth and I was lighting it up, and then right here I could actually place my camera, tripod, the whole setup at this doorway. Okay, now the doorway, keep in mind, is only about a little less than maybe 6 feet, between 5.5 to 6 feet. So you're not going to set up everything too high, right? You're going to set it up high enough where the umbrella of the photo booth will maybe slightly hit the door. You know, even if you need to come out a little bit, that's okay. So that people will come in through that other door and be able to do their thing. Okay, so hope you enjoyed that. Next video is how we're going to put the photo booth back into the bag. See you then.